Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be how the narcissist divides people. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So division, this isn't just one of the arithmetic problems you solved, which was math, addition, subtraction, and division. The narcissist divides people. They divide people from each other. They divided you from them. They divided your assets away from you. They divided your health. They divided your mindset. All the narcissist does is divide. And what they want to do is when they find somebody just like you, they want to get as close to you as possible. And they want to figure out everything about you, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals. If you have a high level of empathy, how deep your pockets are, your educational level, and more. And then slowly and insidiously, they creep into your mindset. It starts off really small. It starts off really innocently, or so it appears. And this person, maybe it was your gym partner, maybe you went to the gym and you were exercising, and maybe you were in great shape or trying to get in excellent shape. And you just wanted to go to the gym and work out. Well, this person saw you, and they said, wait a minute, every time this fancy car pulls into the gym parking lot, the car is worth $100,000 or something, I don't know what cars are worth these days. Doesn't matter who's in the car. What matters is that somebody has money. So they were watching you from maybe working out and pumping up their biceps or doing hot yoga, whatever it was. Next thing you know, they put two and two together and they figured out it was you who had the nice car, and it was you who was in the gym, and it was you who was single, and it was you who was naive, and it was you who was trusting. It was you who didn't have boundaries. It was you who would fall into the jaws or the clutches of the narcissist. This is what they do. It's how they start off. So that gym relationship, it went from maybe seeing them once a week by a chance encounter, wink, wink, but they figured out what your schedule was. Now you're seeing them 2 or 3 times a week, and you're maybe taking more and more classes at the gym, and they're miraculously or strangely enough, oddly enough, if you will, joining the same classes. Next thing you know, one day they claim that they have a flat tire, they can't get a ride home. And that's how it starts. You see, that ride home, they learned all about you. They learned about who you were because you weren't in the gym setting. You were isolated in a car, just the two of you. And yeah, it was your car. It was worth a lot of money. It's not about the money. It's the narcissist was targeting you. They were observing you. They were studying you. And they were figuring out which trap to set to get you to fall into that relationship with them. Whether it was romantic, a friendship, business, maybe you were a person that put them up. They were one of your tenants. Who knows who the narcissist was, but they saw something in you, and they saw opportunities, and they were slowly grooming you. They were slowly pulling you into that web of manipulation. So I'll fast forward. Next thing you know, you guys are going to the gym together. Next thing you know, you're going to lunches before and after. Next thing you know, you're spending weekends together. Maybe that relationship turns into something romantic. Not every narcissistic relationship is romantic, but let's say it did. Then now you move in together, or they move in with you because they were living at an old supplies house, and that old supply got used up, so they probably discarded that person, went on to move in with you. But they had all fancy clothes from the old supplies dime, and they had the latest smartphone, and they had whatever they had to make it appear that they could be on your level, although you knew something was wrong, something was off, your spider senses were tingling, but you didn't have the wisdom back then. So you move them in. Next thing you know, they're now living with you. And what happens here? Now, over time, maybe you fell in love with them. Maybe you professed that you wanted to marry them or have kids. However, it shook out. One thing led to another, and now they were consuming your time. They took over the kitchen. They took over the living room. They took over the TV shows that you would watch or the documentaries that you would watch. They took over the kitchen counter. They took over the bathroom. They took over the closet space. They took over the parking lot. Eventually, you found yourself losing more and more of yourself. You became a shell of yourself over time. You lost your identity. Now that car that you had that was paid off, and you had a great job, and you were in excellent shape, and the house was spick and span, it was spotless, and you had all these friends, and you were saving up, and your 401k was flush, and you were only working 2 or 3 days a week because you had so many things going for you. Now you realize that you just bought them a car. Now you realize that they wanted more and more Amazon packages to be delivered. Now you realize there wasn't enough space in the closet, that you had to make one of the extra rooms into an extra space for them. Now you realized you were being squeezed out of your own environment. Next thing you know, you looked at your bank account, it was zero, maybe even. You were in credit card debt, although you never had credit cards before. And as I shared, now the car that you had purchased for them only a year or two ago, because I'm fast forwarding the relationship here, now they wanted a new car. And you appeased them because you knew if you didn't, they would throw a little temper tantrum. You didn't know a temper tantrum was a way to control you, but again, you weren't taught this in school, so how could you realize that this person did these things intentionally, deliberately, and on purpose to divide you from anything that meant anything to you? And again, to take your time and your money and everything else from you. So I'll speed it up. What happens next? Next thing you know, you realize that you're not going home as often as you used to. You're not working out any longer. Maybe you put a few pounds on, or maybe you're not in the best shape. You can't function at work properly, and now you're going to work 5 days a week, whereas in the past you're going 2 or 3 days because you didn't really need to go to work that often. You just went to make sure that the company was running properly and that you were doing what you needed to do. Now your car hasn't been washed in months. Now you are looking a little not as healthy as you used to be. Maybe you are disheveled and people are wondering what happened to you. You see, all the luster, all the shine has gone off of you. Why? Because the narcissist has divided you. They've stolen your energy. They've stolen your health, your purpose, your time, your money, your emotions, your mindset, your house, and everything else. Lo and behold, I'll fast forward. Next thing you know, this person who is a parasite, and you were the host, unfortunately. Next thing you know, they, one day when you came home, they threw an ultimatum at you and they said, I can't do this any longer. We need a bigger house, or the car's not working, or you're not giving me enough money every month, or I can't believe that you're not doing the dishes any longer, or what about the bathroom? You haven't taken the trash out in forever. And you, because you're in the trauma bond or the devaluation stage, definitely in the narcissistic fog, you didn't realize what was going on. You're thinking, wow, I keep doing things. This person's doing nothing. What's going on here? There's not an equilibrium here. There's not equal. This relationship is not on solid ground. Something's off. Maybe you put a boundary up and you said something. Perhaps you did, and what would happen? Well, here we go again. Now the narcissist grabs your car keys, they storm out and they disappear. And they're gone for a day, a couple days, a weekend, maybe a week. And you're texting them, you're calling them, you're frantic, you don't know what's going on. They had done this before, but not this length of time. Next thing you realize, you're in your house. There's no food in the fridge. You have all these credit card bills piling up. The bathroom hasn't been cleaned. The carpet hasn't been swept. Dishes haven't been done, etc. And you're really confused. Well, what happened is the narcissist just divided you. They divided you not in half. They divided you in a million different little pieces because they were fracturing you, fracturing your relationship, and fracturing anything that meant anything to you. Where did they go when they took your car keys that night? You will never know, but most likely is they went off to a different place, maybe even a new gym, wink, wink, or maybe a new seminar in a different country. Maybe they went to a former source of supply who had rebuilt up their bankroll. Maybe they went back to one of their parents who's just as toxic as they are because they wanted to just decompress and get pampered by another toxic person, again, which was their parent. Who knows where they went? But what they were doing was twisting the knife in you deeper and deeper, getting new sources of supply, using everything of your assets, using all of your assets and resources, and now you were stuck in your house. I'll just fast forward this part. Let's say it was a couple days. They finally come back to the house and you haven't eaten and you look really not good and you're not in this healthy mindset. That is an understatement of a lifetime, because when you're in the trauma bond or the narcissistic fog, the last thing you have is a healthy mind because your mind is scattered. You're walking on eggshells. You can't be yourself. You're a walking zombie, if you will. But then they come back and they sit and they act like everything's fine. And you are saying to yourself, what? You're not even going to talk about what happened? I just sat here for 4 days. I missed work. I haven't shaved in 4 days. I haven't done anything. I haven't eaten. I've been calling you, texting you. I sent you emails. I asked people where you were. Nobody knew where you were. What happened? And then they look at you and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I just went away for a couple days. By the way, here's the car key, and you need to fill it up because there's no more gas in it. And then what do? You have two choices. One, you call them out and say something. This, again, remember, you didn't know what narcissism was. You didn't have the wisdom. You could call them out and say something, and maybe they disappear again with their car this time, and maybe they never come back, who knows. Or number two, you say nothing, and you bite your tongue, and that's probably what you did. And then they said, yep, I have another one right here. They're in deep. They don't know it. I know it, but I now control them, and they'll never even know that there's an invisible leash around their neck, or there's an invisible bind around their ankles and their arms and their wrists. But they will never figure this out. So that what happened there? The toxic person, the narcissist you're considering, they continue to watch your bank account go to zero. They watch the credit cards mount up. They watched you not be nearly as healthy as you used to be, perhaps even have medical concerns. They watched how you weren't around as often as you were in the past because now you had to work to pay for their lifestyle. And they watched your whole world fall apart. Because why? Because they just divided you. They divided everything from you. Your health, hobbies, hopes, dreams, aspirations, your gym, your purpose, your mindset, your focus. They took everything they could. And then one day, let's say you came home and they were sitting there on the couch with somebody you had never seen before or heard of, and they're a little too close. And this person is in your house, the stranger that is, with your romantic partner, let's call them that, who turned out to be the narcissist. And this person, who the stranger, is really close with your partner, and they're giggling and laughing it up, and they're touchy-feely, and you can't say, oh, well, you don't know what's going on. And then you say, hey, what is happening here? I'm home a little early, and what are you guys doing? And then your spouse or your romantic interest, whoever it is, they look at you and say, oh, this is so-and-so from the gym. You haven't met them yet. They're new. They just got into town. They're from across the country. And I saw them and I talked to them, and I thought it would be nice to invite them over for some coffee or some tea or some afternoon delight. And then you would be puzzled, you'd be miffed, you'd be fuming, you'd be steaming. You couldn't say anything because if you did, it would look awkward, like you're the bad person. If you didn't, now the narcissist controls you, and the new supply, the trainer, now may or may not know what's going on. But let's say for this example, they don't know. They're about to enter the web of manipulation. But see, what happened there is that person, the stranger, they're now in great shape because they're the trainer. They now took your spot in the gym, although maybe they don't have your money because they probably didn't. But now they're really close with your partner. This is how easily and effortlessly the narcissist divides people, relationships, mindsets, and anything that matters to anybody. So finally, before I close the video, let's say that the trainer goes home and your partner or spouse, whoever it was, gives them a big hug in the doorway, a little too long of a hug, if you will, maybe even a kiss on the nape, maybe a little peck on the cheek or more, and you are dumbfounded. You can't believe this. You have no idea what just happened. Again, you're damned if you say something, you're damned if you don't. Door closes, the narcissist turns around and just goes upstairs, doesn't talk to you. You follow them upstairs and say, what happened there? Like, why is this person in my house? I don't even know them, and we've been together for years. What is this? And they say, what's your problem? You're so insecure. It's just a trainer. You're so jealous, you're so envious. Do I have to explain this to you again? You don't own me. I can do whatever I want to do. You see, now it's too late. Now that narcissistic individual, the dark force, the dark energy, they now have taken everything from you, and they're now twisting the knife in you deeper, making you scream, making you beg, making you cry, making you plead, and making you do whatever they want you to do. So how this ends ultimately is the narcissist looked at you. They look at you with pity. They look at you as weak. They look at you as naive. They look at you as someone they just destroyed. And then what do? Maybe in a couple days, a week, a month, I can't tell you when. Then probably one day they just took all their gear or some of their gear and they moved in with the trainer on the trainer's dime. And now you have paid for their lifestyle. This is how the new supply gets inserted. Next thing you know, the person who you loved or you were in love with, and the person who claimed that they loved you and moved in with you. Remember, this is the person you met at the gym years ago. They now look at you and mock you. They smirk at you. They taunt you. They tease you. Their pupils get swelled up with supply when they look at you and say, you're not even close to what you used to be. Look at you. You're overweight. You're underweight. You don't even work out anymore. You're not even here any longer. You're working so much. You can't even clean your car. Look at the dishes in the sink. I can't believe this. You haven't taken the trash out in weeks. All the bills are mounting up. You don't even sweep any longer. What do you expect me to do? I was being neglected. You weren't even around here. What do you want? And then they will perhaps discard you, or maybe just say, I'll be back in a couple months or weeks. Famous words, and yes, I did hear these words, and I'll tell them to you right now. I need time and space. Famous words. At the time, they twisted the knife in me deeper than you could ever imagine. But what is that? Why do I say that? Well, first of all, they were told to me. But second of all, when the narcissist or toxic person says that, what they're saying is, give me more time to groom the new supply to make sure that they can fill your shoes or come close to it. And I will get supply from your misery and from your discomfort and from you not figuring out who I am. And I'll start grooming the new supply, and you will be wishing that you were with me. This is how the narcissist divides people. And then I'll just fast forward. Let's say the new supply, the trainer, who is the new supply, They take your partner, your wife, your husband, whoever it is, they move in together, and you think that everything's going swimmingly and these two are living happily ever after, and maybe you were married, but maybe you weren't. I'm not downplaying any of it, but that's a whole different video. And you're thinking that these two are living their best life and that trainer is getting all the hard work that you placed into your partner or your spouse. Well, it's not what happens. What happens is that person is now in the love bomb stage. They're now in the euphoric stage. They're being groomed. They're falling for the same mask that you fell for. It's just a different period of time with a different person. And eventually that person, the trainer, will get discarded because the same thing will happen to them in a different way. A similar thing will happen in a different way, and then the narcissist will move on to another person. Maybe the next person is a painter. Maybe they are an actor, no pun intended. Maybe they're a person in a community. Maybe they're a person in a religious organization. I can't tell you, but this is how the narcissist slithers through life, and this is how they divide people. They pit people up against each other. They take anything they possibly can from somebody. They twist the knife in them as deep as possible, and they hope that that person doesn't exist. Sorry to say it, but it's true. Before I close the video, I'll just share this. Once you get the wisdom and you've identified, or you now know that somebody in your life or in your past life is and or was toxic, you need to get away from them. These people don't change. You can't give them chances. You can't let them know what you're thinking. You have to have a small footprint. You have to go no contact and get away from these people and heal properly. The narcissist is everywhere. They're all over the world. They all speak different languages, different ethnicities. Some are tall, some are short, some are in great shape, some aren't. Some are really intelligent, some claim to be intelligent. All of them do one thing. They all, and I mean all, use the same script. Every single one of them. So now you realize that you can't unsee what you've seen. You now have to apply the tools, and you need to understand, get off the radar of these people. Get away from them as far as you can and as fast as you can. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And how the narcissist divides people, they will divide people any way they can. They will divide their kids away from each other. Example, who is the golden child? Who's the scapegoat? They will divide their former romantic relationships. My husband or wife number 1, 2, 3, 4 used to do all these things for me. Your husband or wife number 5, you don't do anything for me. See, they pit people against each other. No matter who those first 3, 4, 5 spouses were, maybe even some of them didn't exist because they just made it up. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is believe yourself, trust your instincts, trust your intuition, and pay attention to red flags. Other things the narcissist divides, they divide you from your money. They divide you from your mindset. They divide you from your purpose. They divide you from your time, from your energy, from anything that made you you. Until when? That's right, until they can't and they don't. And that's when you reach the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. And that's where I am, and that's where you will be one day. Continue on the path, continue to focus on yourself. I love you all, God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And one thing, this eye is a little bit swollen, and it's in there too. And I will tell you a fun fact that you may not want to know, but I have poison ivy on my cheek here. That's why it's swollen. So I'm taking care of that, but I'm still creating videos. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.